Team 8 comes Productivity Improvement Study, which chose to study construction operations and productivity improvements for Pomona College. Pomona College is a private liberal arts college in Claremont, California. It is approximately 1,600 students, and it is building a new studio arts center on the east side of the campus to provide space for students and faculty artists, and also become a new attraction for Pomona College students. The construction of Pomona College Studio Art has emphasis on sustainability and implements energy-efficient design. It is a project collaboration between Pomona College, WHY Architecture, and Hamilton Construction. It is a 16,000 square feet building and features 2 floors of room studios, galleries, and central courtyard for students. And the project expects to achieve gold rating from USGBC LEED certification. The building will feature solar photovoltaic, solar hot water heaters, and low volume lighting to use as few resources as possible. For this project, there are 2 project managers, 1 field manager, and 1 project engineer to oversee the construction of the art hall.
We chose this site due to clear construction cameras with the live view and our fascination with a LEED certified project. In terms of the construction progress, the first and second floor metal stud framing has been completed. The construction crew is currently working on lath and plaster, drywall, and curtain wall framing for both floors. Our productivity analysis focuses on the construction progress of glazing, which is the installation of glass headers for the curtain wall. The curtain wall serves to provide structural stable support from wind and seismic activity, as well as preventing air and moisture from entering into the art center. Not only does glass curtain wall provide an architecturally pleasing building, it also allows natural filtration of natural light into the building. A crew consisting of 1 foreman and 5 laborers perform glazing for several cycles.
There were a few assumptions when implementing our methods of study. Firstly, waiting times and congestion of labor between different trades were not accounted for, such as waiting times of glazers for framers to finish installing shims and framing. Also, waiting times were disregarded for the delivery of additional clerestory structure attachments. Delays caused by design changes were disregarded as well. The site did not have a lot of space for material storage. Therefore, time used to find materials were disregarded too. Delays in checking safety devices while working at high places were disregarded as well.
There are 2 machines and 6 workers in one study cycle. There are JLG lift operator, the crane operator, 2 laborers, the foreman, and an erector or carpenter. 1 laborer, foreman, erector, and a crane are working behind the building or behind the window. The reps are working in front of the building or in front of the window. Distances are estimated by normal moving speed of the crane and labor. For example, the crane is assumed to move 6 feet per second on average for 1 minute, and the labor is assumed to move 3.3 feet per second on average for 15 seconds. We observed one specific window installation process. This is the crew balance chart. The JLG lift lifted up the balance chart. The JLG lift lifted up the labor at the front whilst the crane was taking the panel from the storage area to the working area. The laborer and the erector at the back maneuvered the panel and aligned it in place with the front laborer, while the JLG lift operator controlled the lift to align the front laborer's position. Meanwhile, the crane went back to the storage area to get another panel after the previous panel was transited to the back laborer for alignment. Before it was ready to come back, laborers held the panel for the erector to nail it to position. After the front laborer was placed on the ground by the JLG lift, The foreman at the back of the window inspected the installation before the next cycle begins again. This is the flow diagram and process chart. The panel was firstly placed in the storage area. Then it was hooked onto the crane and transported for 360 feet to the work area through the hollow ceiling of the building on the construction site. After it had been temporarily placed on the crane whilst the back labor was unhooking it from the crane, it was brought to the installation point, which was 50 feet from the dropping point. Finally, it was held, aligned, nailed, and installed in place by laborers from both sides.
We are the Econ team focusing on problem analysis. As shown in the flow diagram and the process chart, the crane is settled at the center of the construction site, which is fine. However, the jig lift is located 410 feet from the crane, while the crane arm is only 360 feet long. Consequently, there is a 50-foot long transport panel to laborers, which lead to more tasks and higher costs. Also, the master schedule sheet indicates that the construction has a 2-month gap, during which barely construction work has been done. The gap is between roof steel fabrication and the south retention beam. This is because the latter task is delayed by the preceding tasks, which are inactive. Moreover, there are many inactive tasks such as structural steel, plumbing, and electrical work. Because of trading issues, these inactive tasks decrease the construction efficiency and extend the construction period.
Our team decided to observe the construction activity called glazing. In this activity, we divided this into some processes which include glass panel storage, attaching the glass panels to the crane and moving them to the work area, lifting up the glass panels for the laborers to align and nail the panels, and finally, for the foreman to inspect the work done. Based on these processes, our team created a crew balance chart, and my team was tasked to make 4 improvements based on increasing efficiency, reducing idle time, and decreasing costs. For first improvement, my team decided to reduce all idle times of both machineries and the laborers. For improvement 2, we decided to move the storage area into an accumulation point closer to the work area to reduce the crane movement. For the third improvement, my team decided to cut costs by removing 1 laborer and assigning his tasks to the foreman. And finally, for improvement 4, we decided to combine improvements 1 and 2, which is to reduce idle time and to move the accumulation point closer to the work area.
Our first improvement suggests that the foreman helps with the handling activities and to reduce his idle times. Overall, the total activity time is reduced from 9 minutes to 7 minutes per cycle. Some of the activities he does is to help with the handling activities installment, which is reduced from 1 minute to only 45 seconds per cycle, and then the nailing activities, which reduced from 3 minutes to only 1.5 minutes per cycle. Our second improvement proposes that the crane is moved to the location site, and then for the all panels be located at the accumulation point. In doing that, we can reduce the time by 1 minute and 2 minutes respectively for the handling activities and the crane movement. Our third proposal suggests that the foreman takes over the responsibilities of the labor. By doing that, we observe that the foreman actually does more productively than he does otherwise. Other times is reduced overall from 25 minutes per cycle to only just 11 minutes per cycle. This is more than 50% improvement. And finally, as a conclusion, we decided that the team should combine the first and second improvement, which is to reduce the other times and then to move the crane position and to make an accumulation point for all the final activities to be done. With this activity, we can reduce other times to only 3.5 minutes in a 5-minute cycle, and that is really productive.
I'm from Econ team, I'm Leandro, and I'm going to talk about our cost implementation plan for our term project. The cost estimation for each improvement solution and for the actual case were calculated based on the RS Means 2014 data, from where we obtain labor and equipment cost rates, seat index, and labor overhead. although productivity rates were computed through live observations and data gathered by students. It is important to notice that material costs are not included in the computations since quantities will remain the same. The actual installation cost was estimated in $281 per unit. Improvement number 1 reduces that cost in 22%, and then the unit cost is $219. Improvement number 2 decreased the actual operation cost in 11%, and the new cost is $250 per unit. Improvement number 3 will reduce the unit price more, about 33%, mainly due to one labor reduction. The price thus is $187 per unit. Our proposed improvement number 4, which is a mix between solutions 1 and 2, will decrease the cost in 58%, more than half of the original unit cost, proving that this is the most cost-effective improvement among our studies. The installation price for number 5 is $117 per unit.